So speaking of UKBCs, it's 2023, your first time competing,
Yes.
and you came second.
Yes. That was probably the biggest thing I learned from the heat. Okay, I can actually cope with this situation. I kind of just assumed I would get off stage and probably just start crying and be like, I never want to do that ever again. Because I hate speaking in front of people, and I hate being on show, and I hate the attention. So actually when I came off and was like, that wasn't as bad as I thought, I was very surprised. I think I just focused on what I was actually doing, just focusing on making the coffee and scoring points. Essentially, it's just a game, right? There's a score sheet and you have to score a certain number of points to win, and that's what I was thinking about. Yeah, they basically were like, well, why don't you just find somewhere that you want to work and just ask them, rather than trying to look at what jobs are available, decide what you want to do and like go for that. Coffee is also quite a small industry, so if people need somebody, probably a lot of times where they just already know somebody that wants the job. Or I think getting in with a roastery is a good way to understand all the different other jobs that there are. I do think sometimes working in a roastery is maybe romanticized a little bit more than than what it is. I don't know, like working in production is hard.
Hey Zoe.
Hello.
So nice to see you.
You too.
How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm really good. I'm really good. I don't know if anyone's asked me that back yet. Maybe
Really?
they have. Yeah, I don't know.
Is that not
Now
just a
that's
normal
made me-
response?
I guess it is a normal response, but this isn't really a normal
True.
situation.
So I'm not allowed to ask you any questions. You're just asking me. Okay.
You can definitely ask me questions. It's okay. We're just hanging out, really.
Yes.
Yeah. You have very recently been doing some judging.
Yes.
Some extremely important judging. How
Yes.
how was it?
It was very insightful. I learned a lot. I tasted some delicious coffees. I actually, because I was shadow judging, so technically not like scoring what they were drinking, I was there to write everything down. But I did manage to taste 3 people's drinks, and those were the 3 people that got trophies. So I did quite well there.
So you tasted the best drinks
Yes.
that they were going,
Yeah.
essentially.
I kind of had a suspicion of who might do well, so when they were on, I was like, can I taste these?
How was being on the other side of the... Also, I realise I haven't introduced this at all. You were judging the UK Barista Championships,
Yes.
which was a couple of weeks ago at the time of recording.
Yes.
Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, the
Feels like about-
semi-final of the UK Barista Championships. Yeah.
Yeah, and how was it being on the other side of the... Because you being in that building...
I think just walking in the building made me really nervous, actually. For the first hour, I was like, this is really weird. I mean, I was nervous the whole day, because when you compete, if I mess up, I'm just messing my own routine, so it's only me that suffers. But if you mess up when you're judging someone and you miss something, or you're not sure what it tastes like that, they've put so much work into that. I actually judged Roos's routine, actually judged, because somebody had to sit that one out. And I got onto stage and I had my clipboard and I went to drink some water and my hand was shaking. And I was like, I can't be nervous because I'm going to make her more nervous. I need to relax. But I felt the pressure, because I was like, I know how much work she will have put into that and how well she's going to want to do. And I need to make sure I know what I'm talking about.
Which side of the bar is there more pressure, do you think?
Oh, I mean, I think the competitor side, but maybe just because it was the first time I'd done it, I was very nervous.
Yeah. Will you be doing it again?
I think so. I'd like to do it again so I can actually taste more drinks, because Roos's was the only one that I actually scored what I was tasting.
Is it? I don't know if this is asking someone to choose between their children, but do you have a preference for being on competing or judging?
I guess they're very different. I don't know, because I'm gonna do one or the other next year, but I haven't decided yet, I guess.
Oh. We are on the edge of our seat waiting to find out.
Yeah, I mean, who knows when I think I need to wait to see when they actually are first.
Oh yeah. When will you find that out?
I don't know. I guess once you know when Worlds is, that gives you an
Sure.
idea. Yeah, I mean, I have a life too, so it depends. It depends when. I have friends getting married and stuff next year, so I might actually just not even be able to do it. So we'll see.
It's good to be open to all possibilities, eh?
Yes.
Yeah. So speaking of UKBCs, 2023 was your first time competing,
Yes.
and you came second.
Yes.
Are you sick of people saying that now?
I feel like people don't say it that often anymore.
I mean, it's pretty astounding.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of feels slightly normal to me now. I think, to be fair, Laura, who smashed it in the competition the other week, said it to me the other day, and I was like, because I kind of made a joke that every time she competes, she gets better. And I was like, I've only ever got worse. And she was like, yeah, but you came second the first time you did it. So, you set the bar pretty high. And I was like, yeah, I guess that is pretty ridiculous.
There's literally only, I mean, obvious to say, but there's only one improvement if you come second the first time you do it.
I shot myself in the foot there.
I mean, going back to that time, what was your motivation for before competing? How, are you a competitive person? Is that...
Not at all with other people, but with myself. So I didn't really go into it thinking oh, I want to beat everybody else at this. I just went into it thinking I want to do well for myself. And then I guess then the drive to do it next year was I want to beat myself, which obviously didn't happen, but that was... I actually don't know what my scores were. I think they changed the rules, but even if I'd scored higher but placed lower, that also would have been fine, because do you know what I mean? It depends how else everybody does. Yeah.
Influence wise, we're here at Clifton Coffee Roasters, by the way. And you kind of, in your years leading up to competing for the first time, would have been around other people that were competing, seeing other people doing preparation. Was it that environment that kind of made it feel more like something you could go and do, or do you think you just had your sights set on it anyway?
No, I definitely did not think I could do it. I guess actually it kind of started. I had a friend who I worked with before Clifton who competed, and I went to watch. And that, I guess, was what planted the seed. But that was in 2021, I think. And funny enough, I've literally just moved house. So I was sorting out all my stuff, and I found my old diary. And I'd written in that, I would love to compete in the UKBC by the time I'm 30. And I only turned 30 the end of last year. So obviously... something happened that made me want to do it sooner. So I think Clifton probably pushed me to do it quicker than I had ever imagined at that point.
Yeah.
Because at that point it was oh my God, I'm at least 4 or 5 years away from even thinking about this. But then, when I came to Clifton, James was competing in 2022. So I was watching his routine, tasting his coffees, just learning a lot from that, I guess. And he got to the semi-finals, and I guess in a nice way I kind of was well, if you can do it, then I can probably give it a go. And then Joe was going to compete in the same year that I competed the first time, but also shout out to Camilla, because Camilla had a conversation with me, and I said, there's no way I'm ready. I literally said to her, I'm not competing until I can use plant milk, because at the time I was die hard, I'm not drinking cow's milk ever, that's not going in my mouth, which now that I've competed has changed, because I did taste my drinks. But yeah, I was adamant I wasn't going to do it, and she was yeah, but you'll never feel ready, you just kind of have to do it to practice, I guess. And then I remember seeing her face when I turned up to the heats, and she was just like, "Oh my god, what's happened?" And I was like, I just thought I'd give it a go.
I do actually remember being at your semi-final that year, and like you like finishing your routine, and Camilla, like, I think she got up and started screaming in a nice way, which is really nice. And I didn't know like that
she was proud of me.
Yeah. I mean,
I hope she thinks the same.
Oh, I mean, that encouragement is it's such a small thing for someone to do as well. It's kind of tell you that they believe in you and like want you to go and do this thing that they think that you can.
Yeah.
How important do you think that is to doing something as, let's be honest, like it's a really big thing going and entering yourself into this competition.
Yeah.
How important do you think that like encouragement piece is?
Oh, massive. Because I feel like, I mean, obviously I can't speak for everybody, but I imagine most people don't feel ready when they first compete. Because how could you if you've never done it before?
Yeah. And does that help you feel more ready? Someone being like, I think you should go and do this.
Yeah, I guess it helped me. I think I also just was like, I'm just going to do the heats.
Right.
I'm just going to go. It was in Cardiff that year, and like not far from where I'm from. So I was like, it's a day out in Cardiff. Joe's also doing it. Like, there'll be loads of people from Clifton there. The cig drink wasn't in it at that point, so I'm just making an espresso split in half and a milk drink split in half. I do that all the time. Like, I think, and then I'll be done, and then I won't have to worry about it. That was kind of where my head was at, I guess.
But you still have to, like, in the heats, you're still like doing the whole routine, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's
you're
definitely not what you're doing every day.
Yeah, but that's what I was telling myself, right?
Okay.
I wasn't like, oh yeah, you're going to be mic'd up and filmed on YouTube, and there's going to be 5 or 6 people with clipboards staring down your neck. Like,
and do you like notice all of that happening around you when it's happening?
Not really.
Okay.
Actually.
You're like,
zone
in the zone.
That was probably the biggest thing I learned from the heats was, okay, I can actually cope with this situation. Because I wasn't sure. I kind of just assumed I would get off stage and probably just start crying and be like, I never want to do that ever again.
Okay. I mean,
because I hate speaking in front of people, and I hate being on show, and I hate the attention. So actually, when I came off and was like, that wasn't as bad as I thought, I was very surprised.
How do you, like, knowing that about yourself and being like, I don't like people looking at me and being, I mean, in those situations, the entire room is looking at you, and you are the center of attention.
Yeah.
How do you fight through that and go, oh, actually, no, I am gonna give this a go? Because that's,
I think
huge.
I just like focused on what I was actually doing, like just focusing on making the coffee and scoring points. Essentially, it's just a game, right? There's a score sheet and you have to score a certain number of points to win, and that's what I was thinking about. I couldn't even, if you'd asked me when I was on that stage, like where Paul was, for example, who works here, who was my coach, where he was in the audience, I wouldn't have been able to tell you. Like anyone past those judges, I had no idea who was there. I think I just blocked that out.
Has since like competing, do you feel like there's less of a fear of being like center of attention and kind of all eyes on you kind of scenarios?
A little bit, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess I just have more confidence that I can be in those situations and not crumble.
Right.
I don't necessarily enjoy them, but I can do it and be fine. I think it's probably what I've learned. I don't think I'll ever enjoy it.
Okay. And do you get to the end of them and you're like, actually, that was rewarding? Or is it just like,
yeah,
God,
I guess so. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done it again. Or maybe I'm just insane. I don't know.
What's the preparation like before competition?
Very repetitive, hard. I think, like, just to motivate yourself, I guess, was probably the thing I found hardest, especially like in your own time.
Yeah, because that's not. It's presumably out of hours.
Yeah, I mean, Clifton are very good at supporting me and letting me use some time here. So especially like closer to the competition, I could set up and people would come and watch me. You know, like Friday afternoons, for example, like where people tend to have a bit less going on or whatever, or like lunchtimes, things like that. But I was here on weekends and stuff too, and evenings, and yeah. And you're not getting anything out of that other than maybe I'll do well. I don't know. Like, I guess when you think about it, it's like, what was I getting out of that? I don't know.
I mean,
a trophy.
yeah. Like, I mean, is that like, what do you know? What the motivation? Did it ever seem like there was like a real motivation, or was just like you wanted to push yourself into?
Yeah, I think I just like having like a project to work towards, I guess.
Yeah.
And like having a very set goal with, you know, a date and a time, and like this is, I don't know, I think like I was always very good at school, like nerd of like, okay, I have an exam on this day, so I'm gonna write a 6-week revision program to like prep for that. I guess it's the same thing. I just had like a little schedule of working towards something. Gives me something to like focus on.
I mean, having a revision program, like, yeah, well, that's, yeah.
Nerd.
In all the best ways, definitely.
Yeah, maybe now. I guess when you're at school, it's probably not cool, but it should be, I guess.
Kids are horrible, aren't they?
Maybe that's my lesson.
Yeah, it should.
Being a nerd is cool.
Yeah, it absolutely is cool. Do you think there's like a crossover with being nerdy and like the coffee side of things?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, even this morning, me and Rob were making brews and going through different equations and trying to figure out numbers, and if you looked at the whiteboard, you'd be like, is this a math lesson? Like, what is this?
Sorry, I had to ask that then because I was like, yeah, seeing the parallels. Putting your routine together.
Yes.
How do you know where to start?
Where did I start? I guess I started with choosing the coffee and dialing in the espresso. That's like the first thing you do. Writing the script is hard.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the same with any like essay or coursework or anything I've ever written. Like the starting is always the hardest part. But I just like would think of a theme, I guess, to start with, and then again go through the rules and be like, okay, I have to say this and this and this and this and this. Yeah. A lot of the stuff you say like is just, this is my recipe and these are my flavor notes, and you know, you're all essentially saying the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think my routine was very original. It was very much this is my first competition and I'm just going to watch to see what everybody's done that's scored highly, and I'm just going to try and do as many of those things as I can.
Like a bit like when you just said it's like a game,
yeah.
Essentially. Like you're looking at the rules and how you score points in the game and working out how to score the most points.
Yeah, that was all it was.
And it worked?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't think you could like win and do really well with that, because you need originality and you need like to be bringing in like new technology or concepts, or you know, you need to do something a bit more revolutionary to win or like do really well at Worlds. But
right, okay.
I wasn't thinking about that the first time. I was just like, let's see how many points I can score and where I get to.
See how it goes.
Yeah.
What do you the year after that you competed again?
Yes.
What did you take from that first experience to go, okay, I'm going to compete again? And well, you tell me.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it was a lot of, okay, if I can do that well the first time I compete, then surely I can do better, was, you know, a big drive. I think also it was kind of a subconscious thing in that I had a week or two, you know, off afterwards, and I went on holiday and like chilled out for a bit, and then I just couldn't stop thinking about what I was going to do next time.
Okay.
So then I was kind of just like, well, yeah, obviously I'm competing, because I can't stop. Every like coffee I was drinking, and I don't know, it was just always in my head of, okay, how can I do this better next time and whatever.
Are you allowed to tell us what the like reflections were of, okay,
If
what
I
I
remember.
just in case you're like, oh, I don't actually want to share that.
No, there is. I mean, there are
Yeah.
no secrets. Everyone can watch the routine online, and
make their own mind up.
Yeah, no, I don't have any. It's not like I have any secrets of like. I'm not going to tell you how I did this. I actually don't really remember, to be honest, between first year and second year. I think I just needed like. I changed to 2 different coffees, so I basically tailored the coffees more towards the different like courses, I guess. It was overall more complicated, my second one.
Okay.
I think I kept it very basic the first time.
Right.
Whereas I kind of pushed the boat out a little bit the second time, like to see if I could, I guess, make things more complex, score more points. Obviously, because I'd done well Clifton, then, I had a bit of a bigger budget. For example, I could have 2 coffees, not 1, and things like that.
Okay. And how was that second time competing?
So much more pressure.
Yeah,
like, so much pressure.
First time,
probably more from myself than anyone else, to be honest. But
yeah, like first time. Is it fair to say there wasn't much pressure, realistically?
Oh yeah, there was no pressure.
Yeah,
I was nervous, obviously, because you're on a stage and people are watching. But I enjoyed it, and every time I did it, it was the best I'd ever done it. Right, like I only I came first in the heats, and then I got through the semi-final. You don't find out your scores, so like in my head, that's the best result I could have got. And then, I got a trophy, so I always did the best that I could have. Really, I mean, obviously I could have won, but like I wasn't aiming for that. Getting a trophy was was like huge. But then the second time is like, now you might do worse. And I think I'd put too much pressure on myself of like, well, I'm aiming to win. Yeah.
Even like not just because you were aiming to win, but just because you were aiming to do better than last time, right?
Yes. But I was also thinking about Worlds. In my head, I was like, I want to go to Worlds. So I have to win to do that. And I think because the time frame between the finals and Worlds last year was quite short, you kind of had to think like that if you had any chance of winning. Yeah. Like we had to make sure we had enough green coffee, for example, that if I did win and I went to Worlds, that we had it ready. Otherwise, I'd have had to completely change my routine.
Which then it's like, okay, this stuff is already prepared for me. Like,
yes. And everyone's saying to me, when you win, we're going to go to South Korea. And when you win, we're going to do this. And it's like, I know you're just trying to hype me up, but also I might not win.
Yeah. Oh. And on the day, how were you?
Semi-final day, that was probably one of the most stressful days ever.
Okay.
Like, I was unwell, but probably because of stress. Like, I had a bit of a cold. I came out in a rash from neck down, which has never happened to me before or since.
Is this a stress rash?
I'm assuming so. It went as soon as the competition finished. And I haven't had it again.
Go on stage.
This was like the day before.
The day before, okay.
The day before, but it was still there when I woke up. So I was like hot. I couldn't breathe through my nose. I was itchy. I just, was not enjoying having to then go and perform. I didn't want to do anything. And then the venue was very busy because obviously at semi-finals there's 14 of you, I think. So like backstage is quite hectic. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of people. So it's very crammed, very overwhelming. And I think I was actually just glad to get on the stage and get it over and done with. I don't really remember what happened, to be honest.
Just a blur of like just getting through it.
Yeah, I think I like came off stage and was like, I was pretty happy with how that went. I didn't come off and think, oh my God, it all went wrong.
Okay.
Which I guess it didn't, but and it turns out I actually came second in the semi-final. Okay. So that one went better than the final, but even though I was more stressed. Because for the final, I was like, I'm in the final now. Yeah. And despite all the build-up, I was like, I actually don't really care if I win. I'm just happy that I've made it this far.
Yeah.
I think I was convincing myself that if I won, I would just be even more stressed than yesterday. And actually, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, because then the preparation you're then going to have to do is like, and in what time frame?
I think it was like 6 weeks or something.
Okay, right. I mean, it's still like doing that alongside actual life as well. It's not like everything stops because you're because you'd be going to Wales, but
yeah. So I was way more relaxed. I kind of remembered that. I guess it was also the last one I did. Maybe that's why I remember it better. But my steam one didn't really work properly. My milk was really flat. I had no latte on my drinks. But I still came off stage and was like, I think that was fine. I think I was actually really happy with how I handled the things that went wrong.
And I remember talking to you before and you saying actually when you were doing practicing and doing the run-throughs, you practice things going wrong.
Yes. I guess mainly like just things went wrong, and then you practice, not just stopping and going, oh, that's gone wrong, I need to start again.
Oh, right, okay. So you
can't do that on stage.
Right,
so
okay.
If when I was rehearsing, I dropped something, or I forgot to tear my scales, or I didn't time my shots or whatever, I didn't just stop and restart. I just had to go with it because that's what happens on stage.
Of course. I mean, that's a pretty good tip. I think when I was interpreting that from before, I was thinking you were like on purpose, like knocking the milk over.
No.
Like, okay.
I did actually throw a whole jug of milk on the floor at one point. And again, I was like, well, I guess I'm just steaming another jug of milk.
Do you mean in the practice?
Okay,
Okay.
Yeah. But I always took a spare like portion of milk just in case.
Yeah.
I think most people do, to be honest. You take spare of a lot of things, but
I mean, I'm sure that like prep of like just seeing all the things that you'll forget or will get knocked over or whatever kind of trains that into you.
Yeah.
I remember you telling me about another bit of prep you were doing. Sorry, I know we were trying to work out before we started recording like when the first time we met was, but now I've just had this other thought. No, it couldn't have been the first time we met, but because I came to your event that you'd put on at the Met in Bristol.
Yes.
And that was actually a bit of a tactic for your preparation, which I never realised. I just thought you were doing a great event, but
yeah. So that would have been maybe a month or so before the first heats.
Yeah.
So I'd been teaching for about 6 months, maybe slightly longer, and was still very much terrified of speaking in front of people, especially like a room full of people, like getting up and having to like get people's attention and things like that, I guess.
Sure.
And I think that was the thing that was like scaring me the most about competing. So I thought, well, I need to practice that. So yeah, I hosted a latte art throwdown. Obviously, like without telling anyone, I was just like, this is a latte art throwdown.
But in the back of your mind, the kind of drive for that was, I need to get comfortable in this situation.
I like still remember that event because I was so nervous. I like had to stand on a chair and like shout across the room to get people's attention and be like, okay, this person's going next and this person's through, and that is so far from my comfort zone.
I mean, I would have, honestly, like, I'm not just saying this, we would have never known.
Okay, good.
Like,
you probably would have if you felt the sweat on my back.
But no, it's like super commendable. Like, you just going, right, I'm just going to keep pushing myself out of my comfort zone and doing these things that are terrifying.
Yeah, I don't like being unprepared. I think that's like a big thing. So with anything that I'm going to do, I'm probably going to work towards it or practice or, I don't know. And I guess, yeah. I'm not very good at winging it.
Is that something that that's always been the case?
Mm-hmm.
Just always, I mean, you did just tell us how much prep you were doing like in school for things.
Yeah,
but
I can still picture those color-coded timetables I was making when I was like 15, for God's sake.
I mean, that's great, like life skills to be having going into like adult life though. Like, yeah, I mean, that was just absolute pure chaos. Like, there was no organization in my life at that age.
I like organizing things, I think.
Yeah, but you've always been that way.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like for me, it's just something I've had to do to make myself function. I don't know. It's great to hear someone was doing it as like a teenager.
Yeah. I mean, my partner now likes to tell me that that's probably autism of some level.
Okay.
Definitely on the spectrum somewhere with that, but
I mean, if it's what works for you,
can use
like,
it to my advantage.
Absolutely. We've delved into competing and judging.
Yes.
But in terms of how things started in the coffee world for you, was actually started in New Zealand.
Yes.
Realistically, you were working in, is it a restaurant that was owned by a roastery? Is that right?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
So standards were pretty high?
Yes, it was quite a nice restaurant anyway. It was like right on the water, basically, like in the harbour. So when I was like stood behind the coffee machine, there was just the sea and boats right there, which is very nice. Yeah. So I think I just thought the standards were high in everything, right? Like the food, the wine, the coffee, like all of it. And it was actually under a different name to the roastery as well. So like all the coffee shops that they owned. So I worked for Mojo, that's the name of the roastery, but all their cafes were called Mojo. But this one restaurant was called Poniki, which is Wellington in Maori. But I think it was like Poniki by Mojo, but I didn't realise that at the time.
Okay.
So I just was like, oh, this is a normal restaurant. Had no desire to work in coffee. Okay. Well, maybe not no desire. I liked drinking coffee.
Yeah.
But I didn't get a job there thinking about that.
Sure. So how did it draw you in?
Well, then I got given coffee training, I guess the same as all the other baristas in the other coffee shops.
Right.
So I wasn't really allowed on the coffee machine until I'd been shown how to use it properly. And then it was like, you can make black coffee first for a while.
Okay.
And you have to be able to dial in the grinder. So like we were weighing our shots, we were timing the extraction. You can do espresso, long black. That's it. And then once we're happy with that, then you can move on to milk.
What happens if... Sorry, I'm like... I'm just thinking about the workflow in that situation. So is there someone on one side of the machine doing the milk... you're just... you're pulling shots. And then
it was more like milk. When it's quiet. If there's black coffees, you make them. Or you do shots and then somebody else does the milk for you.
Sure, okay.
It was quite a quiet restaurant, actually. So we didn't get through loads of coffee. But yeah, that's kind of how I got into it. And then I guess maybe because they took it so seriously, I was like... I should take this seriously.
Yeah. Was the training there pretty full on?
I guess yes, but it didn't feel full on in a bad way.
Yeah, just high standards.
Yeah, high standards. Very comprehensive and very structured. You know, there was a level 1, a level 2, and a level 3, and they had defined parameters, and everyone knew, that you did them in this order and what that included, and it was the same across the board. So. I think that worked quite well.
There was someone there that was someone that trained you, that was a world certified judge, or is now a world certified judge.
I'm pretty sure he was a world judge at the time.
Okay.
I mean, I haven't gone back and checked that, but at the time that he was training me, obviously I didn't know who he was. He was just the person that was training me.
Right.
And there were 2 people on the training team who were both amazing. But then, afterwards I realised, once I'd kind of dipped my toe into this whole coffee competition world, that he'd judged Barista Championships and has gone to Worlds and judged.
Right.
I don't know if he still is, actually. But
is it a bit of a, full circle that now you're... I don't know, you were, trained by this world certified judge, and now you've come full circle and you're like... it feels quite linear, but does it feel linear or just...
Yeah, I guess. Probably a bit faster than I was expecting.
Yeah.
I took photos of the training sheets that they used when I got trained on my phone, in the hope that maybe one day I would be a barista trainer and I could use that as reference. And I've now, in hindsight, looked at that and gone, wow, that's really similar to a tech sheet for barista competitions.
Oh, okay.
It's basically the same format, and I was like, oh, that's how I was trained.
So you were being trained from
without, without knowing it. I was just
but they weren't being oh, this is how competition works.
No, it's just this is how you be a barista. Yeah. We expect every barista to wipe their basket and rinse their group head and weigh out their dose, and that's just how it's done. I've never known any different. So.
And they were showing it to you in this way that was very almost regimented and very clear of what was expected of you.
Yes.
Which we've
at that point, it was just, this is how Mojo do it.
Yeah,
to me,
sure.
right?
It wasn't like your eyes being open to the whole of the coffee world. And
no, I had no reference point because I'd never made coffee anywhere else.
Yeah. Were they also doing like cup tasters and latte art and audits and stuff, and kind of being around that kind of environment?
Again, I guess at the time I thought that was Mojo thing.
That's just what happens
so
at
naive.
Mojo. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, why would you know any different? Like, that's the only place you've been. Yeah.
True. I mean, I think I figured people would do latte art competitions in other places, but
yeah,
I think it was I was only there 2 years, so I guess it happened twice. But there was, we do a latte art throwdown because there must have been like 15 to 20 Mojo cafes in Wellington.
Okay.
And on average, you probably got 4 or 5 people working in each. So everyone would come together and do these latte art throwdowns. And then there was also what I now realise is cup tasters.
Right, but at the time you were tasting stuff.
Yes, it was pick the odd one out.
Okay.
And I just like had a go at it because I just thought it was a bit of fun that they were doing, but they literally had like the tape on the table, and like you'd move the cup forward and then you'd lift it up and there was a dot underneath. But yeah, again, like at the time I didn't realise, so now I realise they've just copied that. And then we also did, I think they called it a smackdown, or maybe that was a throwdown.
Aggressive.
It was like 2 people in a pair and you had to make a certain number of drinks as fast as you could, basically.
Okay, yeah,
but you were judged on your tech. So like our shot times had to be in, our milk had to be exactly the right temperature.
Right.
Like all of that stuff. And me and my friend who worked in the same site got quite competitive with that, and we were like practicing for that, and we came second. Something about this something about coming second. I think it was by like a second or half a second or something. It was
of course.
Yeah, we did it pretty quickly. Maybe that's actually where it all started. That would have been my first like actual coffee competition that I practiced for beforehand.
Well, I think there's something about
I'm only just realising that.
Yeah, well, that's what this is all about. Self-discovery. I thought that was important to highlight, just because I think that level of like you were kind of almost saying you didn't even realise that was like competition realistically, but this accessible entry into like a low pressure situation of just getting people involved in competition in like a work environment, but it kind of feels like a fun thing to do. Like,
and there was always beer and pizza and I guess like throwdowns here. It was a very similar atmosphere, but it wasn't always latte art.
I think we can sometimes underestimate the power of a throwdown, like especially if you work in places like we do where it happens quite a lot. But for the people doing that for the first time, second time, third time, like it's kind of it's a learning experience for them, right? And we did cup tasters. Well, I didn't, but somebody from Clifton hosted like a cup tasters last year, and I think a few people then did that and then went on to enter cup tasters. Because if you can try it in like a less serious setting, then you go, oh, actually, maybe I can do this. 100%. Yeah, like just going straight into going, oh yeah, I'm just gonna enter this competition. Like I've just never had any. Yeah, it's not. Who's doing that in any walk of life?
People
right?
who are completely insane.
You came back from New Zealand.
Sadly.
Sorry.
No, I was happy to be home. Happy to see my parents.
Of course. Which was going back to Wales for a little bit?
Yes.
Which is where you're from?
Yes.
Yeah. Shout out to Wales. Whereabouts?
Newport.
Shout out to Newport.
Yeah.
Do you want to do that? I don't know. I've never been. I'm just like, yeah, great. Yeah.
It's nicely between Cardiff and Bristol. It's a good location.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. Nice. You wrote a letter. Is it okay? I don't want to embarrass you.
No.
Saying that. No, I think it's great. But yeah, like, do you remember what was in it? And who it was to? Spoiler alert.
Yeah, so I guess classic. Came back from New Zealand. no job, no money, no where to live. I was living with my parents, did not have a clue what I wanted to do with my life, was going to therapy and was like, I don't know what I want to do. And they basically were like, well, why don't you just like find somewhere that you want to work and just ask them, like, rather than trying to look at what jobs are available, decide what you want to do and like go for that, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I was working part-time in a cafe at that point in Newport. Because weirdly, I came back and there was a cafe just down the road that was using Hardlines coffee, and I was like, specialty coffee in like where I'm from, this is weird.
And that wasn't there before?
No,
before
that wasn't
left?
there.
Oh,
no. So yeah, I worked there part-time, but I didn't really want to be a barista anymore. And the idea was I was going to train people there, but that kind of didn't really work. So yeah, then I was like, maybe if I work for a roastery. I mean, again, I'd done a lot of classic like journaling before I left New Zealand of like, let me get my thoughts together and think about what the hell I want to do. And I had written down like, okay, if I could work for a roastery, maybe that's how I'd be a barista trainer. But again, it was more like, that's the end goal, but there's probably going to be things in between.
Okay.
Rather than that's what I need to do like right now.
Yeah.
But then I guess after, a couple of months, I was like, okay, I'll just write a letter. So I wrote a letter to Josh, I guess it was, who was head of coffee here. I say letter. It was an email. Okay. We're in the 21st century. I wrote an email. Sorry, you said letter, so I guess.
Sorry. I don't know why I was saying letter, but
I wrote an email to Josh.
It just sounded more like
sounds
not
more
romantic, but like, it feels
yeah.
An email's still nice.
Yes. But I wasn't writing it with a quill and like, sealing it with ink. Sadly.
Okay. So at least we know you don't have to do that. That's it's not cool.
I wrote an email to Josh, who I guess I must have just got his email off the website. I didn't know who he was. Essentially saying something along the lines of, I am really enthusiastic about coffee. I've just come back from New Zealand. I have a lot of barista experience. I'm willing to work hard. I don't really know what I want to do. I did know. I wanted to be a barista trainer, but I didn't say that because I didn't think I was ready.
Right.
Essentially, like, do you have any jobs going?
Okay.
And I think he phoned me back within like half an hour.
Whoa.
It was ridiculous.
Oh my God. That's really quick.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think I'd been like applying for other jobs. So like, I answered my phone normally, to be honest, when it's an unknown number, I don't answer, but I answered the phone. It was Josh, and he just basically was like, oh, do you want to come to the roastery for a chat? We can have a coffee. It was very informal. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, perfect. So I came over here. We sat and had a chat. He made me a coffee. I was in the showroom like, what is this place? This is ridiculous.
I mean, it is pretty ridiculous. We spoke about that before we were recording, but yeah.
And it was even smaller then. It's changed since then, actually.
But it was still here?
It was still here.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. But they hadn't finished the whole like expansion, I guess.
It does give like, not that I've ever been to Google headquarters, but it gives Google headquarters vibes to me, like in a nice way possible.
Yeah.
Just
I think
everything
like
is pristine, for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, we had a coffee, we had a chat about coffee. I'm guessing about like what I'd done, and I remember he gave me a little tour, and then he took me into the production room. And I think I did about an hour in the production room, essentially just like putting coffee in the bags.
On that day?
Almost
that day
as like
chat?
As like a little trial, I guess.
Great.
For them, but also for me.
Yeah,
it was like, is this a job that I would want to do? Because I'd never really thought about it. But I guess at the time I was like, I'm not happy with what I'm doing. I want to find something that's going to excite me. And at the time, we don't have it now, sadly, but the wall was like, I guess like big dispensers, and you basically put the bag underneath and you pull it, and then it like drops into it.
Oh, nice.
A bit like a massive pick and mix kind of thing.
Oh, lovely.
We had that with the coffee beans.
Okay.
So I walked into the room and I was like, oh my God, there's like 15 different coffees in here of all different like origins and processes. And even that to me at the time was like so exciting. And I was like, I could do this. Like, I'm working at a roastery. I'm going to be around like really cool people. It's going to be full time, which I guess was another big thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, then I started like literally the first day of January 2022. I think I must have come in just before Christmas maybe, and then they were closed over Christmas.
That's quite nice to just have like first day of the year.
Yeah, it was quite nice.
Hopefully not New
Although
Year's
that is
Day.
a really busy day. No, they're closed on New Year's Day 'cause it's bank holiday.
Oh yeah.
But they've been closed
Second.
for like 8 days maybe at that point.
Which never happens.
Yes. So the first day back in January is the busiest day of the year in production.
Welcome to Clifton.
Well, actually, then I was kind of upset that every day wasn't like that, because I was like, this chaos is great. This is so busy. Because I was used to working in a coffee shop where I was making like 600 coffees a day. So I quite like fast-paced environments.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it. And then it did start to slow down, inevitably, in January.
Of course.
And I also realised that they weren't actually looking for somebody, but they'd just given me that job because I'd asked, essentially, I guess, because Josh liked me.
I mean, because they saw you had potential and they thought you would be a good employee, obviously, not because you just asked, I don't think.
Well, yeah, but I wouldn't have got it without asking.
Not just obliged to give you the job because you emailed. No.
Yeah,
but
true.
no, because
but they weren't advertising for somebody. I think,
Yeah.
and I think maybe then it was a little bit quiet for a while. Probably didn't necessarily need me here, but I definitely worked hard in the production room. I'd come and join cuppings and just get to know what happens in a roastery, I guess.
Yeah. Would you recommend that sort of route to people who are looking to go, okay, I want to get out of barista life? Because I know Coffee Jobs Board is a thing, but I don't know if it's really that much of a thing outside of London. And are jobs advertised, and like you say, was there even a job going anyway?
No, there wasn't a job going then, so I think people do advertise, but coffee is also quite a small industry, so if people need somebody, I guess there's probably a lot of times where they just already know somebody that wants the job, so it's always worth reaching out. I think getting in with a roastery is a good way to understand all the different other jobs that there are. I would say, I do think sometimes working in a roastery is maybe romanticized a little bit more than than what it is. I don't know. Working in production is hard. Well, it's like a really physically hard job. It's very repetitive. It's very loud down there. It's very dirty down there. It's you also do have to be prepared for okay, I could actually be doing this job for 6 to 12 to 18 to however many months,
Yeah. It's not like a quick fix to then go, oh, in a couple months' time I'm going to be... And it's also quite a violent jump from baristering, because... Are you talking to anyone while you're
Nope. No, I had my headphones in the whole day because it's so noisy.
Yeah, sure.
So you have them in, one, to protect your ears, but two, then I was listening to things because you're just packing bags all day.
Yeah, comparing that to dealing with people in a cafe and the whole workflow of working out what's what and what that does for your brain, of working out the different aspects of building orders and everything else.
There's a little bit of that down there because all our retail orders are done to order, and they're all hand stickered. So there's a little bit of okay, these are all the orders we have. Let's sticker all the bags appropriately and weigh out the right amounts, and there's a little bit of building orders, but it's very, very unsociable.
Sure.
Which I guess is kind of a nice change of pace for a while. I'd been working in a busy coffee shop for 2 years. I'd had a big shock coming back home and was probably was definitely a bit depressed. But by that point was probably still not fully feeling myself. So it was probably quite nice to just come to work and be I could just listen to a podcast like this and pack some bags. And I actually at that point I was very enthusiastic and excited. So I was listening to a lot of coffee podcasts. I was trying to learn. Amazing. While I was doing it.
Yeah. And around that you were, still say going to cuppings that were happening here and being involved in stuff around the roastery. Yeah. What was the transition like? How does that work, going from what you were doing to okay, the next step from there was barista trainer, which was goal that you've been working towards or manifesting or whatever had happened there, because it did come true.
Yeah. So, I mean, the short story is Joe, who was the trainer, basically just asked me if I wanted to be a barista trainer.
And had you ever told him before that? Had you hinted at
I guess
it?
I probably had. I don't remember explicitly, but I imagine I probably had. He would have known that, you know, I was a barista in New Zealand and that I'd worked in quite a high pace environment, and that I was, I guess, quite meticulous with the way that I made coffee, which is probably quite important when you're teaching people.
Yeah.
And then I think I was just like always asking him questions, and I really pushed to do my SEA courses when I started here. Okay. So I'd never done an SEA course until I worked here. And then I did like my foundation barista. I think I did my foundation, my intermediate, and my pro in the first year that I worked here.
While you were packing?
Probably foundation and then maybe intermediate while I was packing. I was only packing boxes for 5 months.
Okay.
So it actually wasn't that long. But yeah, I would like do training with Joe. And I guess he was just like, I think you would make a good trainer. And luckily at that point, like somebody was leaving the training department and moving to a different department here. It wasn't like they were actually leaving.
Okay. Sure.
So yeah, I don't even think they advertised the job, to be honest. I think I just said, yeah, I want it.
And you're like,
I don't know if they're allowed to do that anymore, actually. With you're supposed to, you know, with HR and stuff, you're supposed to advertise for jobs. But I was quite lucky that they just went, we already have somebody.
I mean, I think hiring from within and working with talent that's already within the roastery
makes more sense. Yeah, I mean, they do that here a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. A lot of people that work in like slightly higher positions, shall I say, will have started production, road team, like whatever.
Yeah. Did you feel like after those 5 months when you kind of had started the role as barista trainer, was it like, my moment has come, I'm ready? And
I wish. No, it was more like, oh my God, what the hell am I doing? I'm never going to be ready for this. I've got to speak in front of people and tell them to do things, and Joe is so good. How am I ever going to be like Joe? It was more like that.
Okay. What did
but
you...
But also, I don't have to pack any more boxes.
Sure. I mean, what did you see in Joe that you were like, he's doing incredibly well in the training space, and like, how am I ever going to be able to... What was the thing that he had that you were like...
I just felt like he knows everything. I mean, I still feel like that now, to be honest. He's worked in coffee a long time. Right. So when I'd started, I think he'd been teaching for maybe 3 or 4 years at that point. And like teaching SEA courses to like the professional level. And he's just like a fountain of knowledge. And also the way he explains things is so clear, and so he's so enthusiastic about it. And I was like, I'm just a barista that's made coffee in one place, and like I don't know anybody. I think that was a big thing too, is being a barista in another country. Yeah. Coming to Bristol and being like, I'm not part of this coffee scene in the slightest. Right. Like, I don't know anyone.
Yeah. And do you think that's important?
Yeah. That's something that I still notice now. Like, you know, I'll go to throwdowns and things, and so-and-so will know so-and-so because they worked in this coffee shop together, and then they worked in this coffee shop together. And they're like, oh yeah, where did you used to work? And I'm like, I've never worked in a coffee shop in Bristol. And the only people I knew for a long time were people who used Clifton Coffee.
It's a nice part of the industry that, like, if you are working as a barista in the city, like, you... Actually, it's not just confined to the walls of your coffee shop. It's like, oh, there's actually a community here. Which is, I think it seems like there is. I don't want to say this as an outsider because I don't live here, but like, it seems like there is that in Bristol.
I think so, yeah.
But then I guess that also has the other side of, like you say, you're going to those things and being like, oh, yeah, maybe feeling a bit on the outside of that.
Yes, and that everyone knows everybody. Yeah,
but everyone knows you now. How did you but then make that breakthrough other than coming second in the UK BCs?
Yeah, but then that like almost not makes it worse, but it's like then people know me but I don't necessarily know them, which then makes me feel even more awkward, because then if somebody starts talking to me, I'm like, Have we met before?
Yeah.
Or, I mean, now that it doesn't happen so much, but when I first did competition, you know, people would come up to me and congratulate me.
And you're thinking, like, is this one that I know?
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah.
Yes.
I have, like, really bad facial recognition
Yes.
technology. And I just don't say it's nice to meet you anymore.
Yeah.
Because too many awkward things.
I try not to.
Yeah. It's nice to see you.
But I did it the other day, and then like about an hour in, I was like, I mean, when I said it, I was like, I'm sure I've met you before, but it just kind of came out my mouth. And then like an hour later, we were like chatting, and he said something, and I was like, that's where I've met you before. And I kind of just like was really open about it, and I was like, I thought I'd met you before, but I just couldn't.
Yes, it takes time for those things to click in place, but I end up feeling so bad because I'm like,
I mean, it was somebody who used to be a customer.
Oh, okay.
Somebody who used to be a customer's dad. Right, so yeah, exactly. He was coming here to practice for his competition, but I'd met his dad before. Like, they'd come up to me at like Bristol Coffee Festival or something just to chat to me, and he'd obviously introduced me to his dad, and then his dad dropped him here, and I said, "Oh, it's nice to meet you," because why would I have met his dad before? And then afterwards, I was like, "Oh, I have actually met you before." I'm so
but
sorry.
Also, like, do you not? If you're someone's dad, not to say that dads don't have identities, but like. Would you not be like, oh, actually, I'm such and such's dad?
Well, yeah, but it turns out he actually works, I think, is it Denelm or something? But he's like in charge of the coffee shops or something. So
okay.
That's why he was at the festival, because he's kind of in coffee a little bit, but very different part of coffee.
Different part of coffee, but still a very valid one.
Yeah.
I didn't even know there were coffee shops in Denelm.
I might have made that up with Denelm, but something like a big chain.
I've never looked for them, so I'm not saying
it's not my usual
true.
place to go for a coffee, to be honest. Maybe that's where we should go after this.
Let's go and check it out.
Yeah.
See if your new friend is
don't
there.
ask me what his name is.
If you're listening. No.
Completely digressed there.
I don't know how we ended up at Denelm.
Something about facial recognition. Oh,
yes.
The coffee community in Bristol.
Yeah. But does that feel different for you now? Do you?
Yes. Yeah. Like, I definitely know a lot more people. Sometimes I still feel like, but I'm people know me as the barista trainer at Clifton Coffee. You know, like,
because you've trained them, or?
Well, a lot of the time that is actually why I know people, like, because
that makes sense.
I've trained them. But maybe that's just in my head. I guess I've never worked anywhere else in Bristol either, so it's still very much part of my identity, I guess.
Which I think is quite unique, because also in the coffee industry, like, a lot of us, like me included, you know, like, we've worked at multiple places, like it happens. So
I mean, I guess I've worked at two, but not in the same country.
Two different, very opposite sides of the world.
Yeah.
With barista training, how did you go from being, is it fair to say, a bit uncomfortable
Terrified?
at the start? Terrified, okay, sure. I didn't want to say it, but yeah, terrified at the start to, like, I mean, is it still as terrifying now, or what's that?
No. I guess it was just a long, slow process of practicing. Our, like, free barista training sessions are supposed to be about 2 to 3 hours long, and I can, like, comfortably fill that time now, even if it's like 1 or 2 people.
Okay.
The first training session I took was 4 people, and I did the whole thing in 45 minutes.
Just like racing through that.
I think I was talking at like so quick, and I would just, like, wasn't letting them say anything, or I don't even know what I did. I don't even know how I did that. 45 minutes. Like, now I take longer than that just to dial in. Not dial in, but teach people how to dial in. Sorry.
I mean, that's a transformation, right?
Yeah. I can laugh at it now, but at the time I was like, oh my God, I'm terrible at this. Joe's going to hate me. Because he was listening. He was, like, round the other side of the room.
Did you get feedback from that first session?
I mean, he was like, he didn't interrupt me. He did let me do it. And then they left, and he was like, right, we need to
it was a little bit
digest
quick.
This. Yeah.
Do you have any tips that have helped you, like, get from that point to where you are now in barista training and what you're doing outside of that with judging and
I think
Zoe transformation.
Yeah, I guess when I'm teaching, I think I'm very conscious now of like stopping to think about what I'm going to say, how I'm going to say it, you know, like the pace that I'm saying it at. I'm also like very repetitive, but like on purpose. So people don't learn things just once. So like in that session, I probably just said, okay, if you need the espresso shot to run faster, then you make it coarser. And that would have been it, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like, okay, I'm going to show you how to do it. And then you're going to do it. And then you're going to do it as a team. And then, you know, like we're going to go over it again and again until you get it kind of thing. Yeah, I think I'm just a bit more intentional about when and how to say things rather than just, you know, which was definitely what happened the first time. And even now I catch myself sometimes like, I don't know, at the start of an SEA course, if I'm a little bit nervous, because I still get nervous, absolutely. But I kind of just know, right, ask them questions, get to know them. You have time to calm down before you actually start teaching.
Yeah.
Because otherwise the first like few topics or the first few slides or whatever will be rushed over more than others.
Yeah. And that's important too, because I think, I mean, those people are probably a bit nervous as well about what they're about to do.
Yeah.
So like making the situation more comfortable for everyone is like a win-win.
Mm-hmm.
It's obvious there's like a transformation there, like professionally. Do you think that translates for you like personally as well?
I guess in like things like this, you know, like I'd probably feel a lot more comfortable saying yes to this than, I mean, I didn't even think about it. I just said yes. Like,
well, thank you for saying yes.
You know, I didn't question it. Whereas maybe a couple of years ago, I might have gone, oh, do I want to do that? Like, how am I going to compose myself? But I don't really notice it as much in my personal life.
Okay.
Maybe I need to watch for it more.
No, I'm not.
Like, no.
Not all, no. But it's like, it's amazing to see. And it's just so commendable when you see someone like yourself, like putting themselves in these uncomfortable situations, because it's so easy to just go, actually, no, that seems really scary. I'm not going to bother. But keep pushing through and evolving, you know, even if it is just in a professional sense. And maybe you just got it all figured out in your personal life. So that's absolutely fine.
Definitely not. But I definitely have like teacher professional mode and not non-professional mode.
Which one do you have now?
Non-professional, I think.
Good. That's what we want. Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing your whole wonderful journey with me and with
welcome.
us.
Thank you for asking.
Of course. We'll go and get a coffee.
At Denelm, obviously.
At Denelm, yes. Thank you, Zoe.
Thank you.